Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I've got Michael D. Cohen with me. Hey, Michael.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, and it's good to see you again.
Thanks. Great to see you.
Yeah. I'm just going to call you Michael from now on, but I felt like I should be official and throw in the D and everything to start.
Yeah, just to make sure that I'm not someone's lawyer.
That's true.
They got me mixed up on IMDb a few times with my headshot on his articles. Yeah, it was really,
there is actually I didn't know.
You know, Michael Cohen.
Michael Cohen.
You know the lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
I paid Stormy Daniels $130,000, apparently.
You know, Jeff Howard is a guy who co-wrote most of Mike Flanagan's films.
Well, that's not
But
a
that's
bad...
not me.
That's
that's not as bad as a sleazy lawyer.
I would just go with it.
I know. Well, there we go. We both have not so uncommon names, but I am about to introduce you better by, first of all, you're on this podcast because your film Roughing It was an official selection at Filmvasion Los Angeles in June of 2025, and your fantastic comedy took home the Audience Award for Best Short Film, the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Writing in a Comedy for you as the writer, and I'm going to add, just in case, I think I told you this when you picked up your trophy, but the Filmmakers Awards, that jury isn't the selection jury that sees way too many films. That is an alumni jury of active filmmakers who are currently writing and directing. So nice. I love when that jury singles people out.
That's a real honor. Yeah,
an award chosen by your peers. Mm-hmm. And then your cinematographer, Samuel Ott, got the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Cinematography in a Comedy. Mm-hmm. Because the film really does look fantastic.
Yeah, he's. I'm so proud, and it's so well deserved. He's amazing.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I assume you're still on the festival circuit. It's not online yet for people to catch?
Nope, still doing the festivals.
Still doing festivals.
Yep.
So it's up to you what level of spoilers we can do. We could do 0 spoilers and just still talk about how great it is. Mm-hmm. Or we'll just focus on your life and career. And by the way, everyone should see Roughing It if and when they ever get a chance. Yeah. And they should follow your Instagram and make sure they go anytime your film is in a festival near them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, we've got a website. We have an Instagram. So the, info's out there about where we're going to be.
That's right. And, oh, man, for a little while I was, I can actually check when this podcast is coming out. But do I dare say it? People listening might have a chance to see Roughing It at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival. Because, I think there's a good chance.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance.
Yeah, I may or may not have gotten an email today about that. Yeah.
I tell, we do, you were so kind because I sent you the email saying, we have a policy where if someone submits to one of our festivals and then does the other one, we sort of make you an official selection and keep you, that's like how we have a bench for if someone drops out or something. But Roughing It is a good length for a festival, and heck, I will never not regret. I will always regret. Get rid of all the double negatives. Your screening was great, but it was standing room only, and it was packed, and it'd be nice to get it in again and get it in the bigger screen. But there was a lot going on.
There was a lot of people that wanted to come that couldn't because it was sold out, and there was 2 other amazing films that were in the same block. So, and I think we had to put it in a smaller theater because I had to change the date because I had to go to the Kids' Choice Awards on the original bigger room. So,
right, we had you in the big room, and that's when I found out about your acting career. Actually,
really?
Because I'm an old fart and.
You're not the demographic?
I'm not quite the Nickelodeon demographic.
Okay, all right.
Well, I wasn't because believe me, I would have been.
Sure,
I would have been, and actually, when I was just out of college, I think I did get moderately addicted to Ren and Stimpy on there.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
But
is it Ren? I didn't even know Ren and Stimpy was Nickelodeon. But
yeah, in the beginning, and they got booted off for being way too Ren and Stimpy-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not the right demographic. But then when you said you had to do the Nickelodeon event, I was like, oh man, I looked at your IMDb and I'm like, what a career.
Well, thank you.
So congrats on that.
Thank you.
And that's almost a segue to the first question and the question that's for the whole interview, which is, as a festival runner, I'm super grateful to people like yourself who make just great indie films, shorts, features, any length, because it's obviously a labor of love, and it's like, it's cinema for the right reasons. To me, I might be biased as an indie film fan, but it's not too often that like major motion pictures don't have that written by committee feel. It's nobody's vision. And, it takes a real powerful person to make it like a visionary kind of thing. Whereas at the indie level, we get people who they write a script or they have an idea that's so darn good, they just make it.
You got the auteur thing happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'd rather watch a film made, on a shoestring like that than, nothing against superhero movies. They're good sometimes, but I've seen enough of them. But I haven't seen that many films like yours, so there you go. So bravo, golf clap.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's just a kind of a different genre. You got your blockbusters and you got your indies, and it's just people watch movies for different reasons, and it's we're fortifying ourselves. We're using entertainment to, not just learn, but to zone out, to escape, to stimulate. I mean, we use them for different reasons. So it's like food. We eat different foods for different reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Times, so.
Exactly.
We're nourishing ourselves with different media.
I agree with you completely. Yeah, and of course I like healthy food, but sometimes, you got to go to Del Taco.
Yeah.
Well, so you want to? So the question I ask everyone is when did you first learn that you were a creative person? Were you Did you perform a lot as a kid? Did you like writing stories? Was it everything? Were you just a creative fountain that geyser of sorts?
Yes, toilet trained. I mean, I think from a very young age, anybody that reads anything about me knows that I'm just the biggest Carol Burnett fan there is. And, we're watching her show when I was very, very, very young. And I was just so taken in and struck by how someone in that TV could make people in a living room bond, unite, laugh, just the vibe that could be created by someone being funny on television. It was like in my bones. And I watched that and I was like, that's me. That's what I want to do. That ensemble, that, I felt this connection through the TV to what they were doing in this way where there didn't feel like a separation.
And was your family watching it together too as a kid? So like you saw the effect that those Tim Conway.
Harvey Korman.
The effect, and
Vicki Lawrence. And of course, Carol.
So watching how your family reacted to those people on TV sounds like it was powerful too.
It was so powerful to me. It transcended language. It transcended any kind of communication or barriers to communication. It was just this thing that, and then we would carry those jokes into our daily life through the week, and I was always looking forward to that one night when we would sit around the TV and watch the show. Over time, and as I got older, I would, obviously watch other shows and just was so fascinated by television. And just knew I wanted to do that. And, I grew up in Winnipeg and Vancouver.
I was about to ask where you grew up.
Yeah. And in
that's
Winnipeg,
where my best friend was born. But go on.
Oh, him. I know him.
Yeah, I told you about him before.
Yeah, and I remember trying to get on some kids show and of course didn't get anywhere with it. And I was so bummed. All I wanted to do was be on TV. And in Canada, and especially at that time, there were no opportunities for that. So, but yeah, I ended up doing some community theater as a kid with a sort of youth group that I was with, and we'd put on plays every year, and we'd go on these, winter retreats, and we'd be doing skits and all this stuff, and I was just ate it up. That's where I came alive.
Right, and mostly performance, or were you writing a bit too?
I was writing too, yeah. I mean, I sort of feel like even from a young age, I was doing that writing, directing, acting thing.
Right, so you were watching Carol Burnett. You were aware that those sketches were written, maybe?
Oh yeah. And I was trying to figure out
isn't that kind of advanced for a kid? Like sometimes a lot of people just accept that it's like But like you were aware that there's creative spirit there.
My dad was a writer. Like he, didn't do it as a profession, although I know he wanted to. But he was, that was his sensibility, and so I knew about that. I knew about writing. And when I was in elementary school, I wrote some plays, and the teacher came to me and said, you're pretty good at this. There's a competition. Do you want to enter it? And I was like, okay, what's this competition? If you win it, your play gets produced on television for I think it was like a cable access channel or something, but it was like this big award because everybody in the suburb where I grew up in Vancouver, it was Richmond. All the schools were competing. So my play won, and it got produced on TV and stuff. And so it was this big kind of like encouraging thing. And I went from being bullied in school to being like everybody wanted to be in my, TV play. And they were like sucking up to me like stuff, So my status just overnight flipped in this school. And I was being bullied really bad. So, it was like, wow, this is really awesome. I'm actually being seen for what I can do. And so that was pretty monumental.
That's huge. You were being judged for the content of your character all of a sudden, right? Like all of a sudden your abilities were being acknowledged and respected.
They kind of were.
Or just status?
I think it was just status because I don't know because I was a little suspicious of him. Like, really, overnight, you're going to see me different. Okay, yeah, that's because I can do something for you. I don't know if I was, but at least like the honor of getting this, play produced on television. Suddenly, I became, this wanted person, and a commodity that people wanted some sort. But it wasn't quite like I could see through it. I mean, I was in grade 7 or 7th grade.
No, I understand grade 7 though.
Oh dear.
But
Yes.
Been surrounded by Canadians.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles.
Yes.
But I don't mean to interrupt. Sorry. Right. So that play, and then just it continued from there.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote stuff, in school, and I wrote like the Christmas play in high school, or things like that. And we had a big high school, so things like that. But it's weird because like the writing sort of took a back seat for a while. I ended up doing, when I finished high school, I went abroad for a year and then I came back, and I started off as a theater major because I knew I wanted to act. I always knew I wanted to act since I was watching the show, the Hero Bonnet show. Like 4 years old, I knew I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to do that. But I dropped out of theater at college and went into cell biology.
Wow.
Yeah. Like most actors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normal route. And I really didn't come back to it full on until after I did my graduate work.
Wow. So at university, you got a bachelor's in science in cellular biology.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's impressive too.
Well, thanks.
I mean, that is impressive.
I love biology. I still don't fully understand why I did it, although I do know that I definitely had a passion for learning about it. I really loved learning biochemistry and molecular biology. All those things fascinated me. And when I was talking to someone about it, they were like, oh, you're just an artsy in science. Because what they were saying was, you just love the stories. Like, it's stories, the way one molecule interacts with another and how there's a gate in the cell membrane and how it has to get across and has to find this to get across. And then all the stuff that's competing in the cell and then the antibodies and it's a soap opera. Like our bodies are just filled with stories.
Yeah. And you're recognizing patterns and
yeah,
and
there's lots of colors, pretty colors. So
there you go.
My textbooks are really pretty.
There you go. And you were staying in Canada for that?
Yeah, I did that in Vancouver.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
UBC?
Yep, UBC, you got it. I'm impressed. That's good geography.
The aforementioned best friend's daughter is in her second year of med school at UBC.
Okay, yes. It's good they have a good med school.
More people I know who were born in Winnipeg and live in Vancouver.
Oh.
Although did it help moving from Winnipeg to Vancouver when you were younger? Or? No.
No,
Didn't
I think
know.
if it were up to me, I would have stayed in Winnipeg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Vancouver wasn't, because I know at some point Vancouver sort of became like an extension of LA, and that's, oh my God, what a SoCal bias. But
Yeah.
but we started losing jobs and TV shows to Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, I never really reaped the benefit of it when I was there. When I was there, I really started off doing voiceover stuff, and I worked behind the scenes. I worked at CBC and some other places, but yeah, I never really. I did some anime dubbing there, but I
Gotcha.
didn't do live action on TV stuff. Really.
Gotcha.
I tried, and then I got I got an agent who ripped everybody off, and stopped. And then when I moved to Toronto, that's when I started doing it.
Gotcha. So after you got that degree, you decided to move to Toronto for.
It was a while. It was a few years after I finished university, and then I went to Toronto to do my graduate work at OISE, University of Toronto, and it was then that I was like, okay, it's now or never. I got to just pursue this thing that I love.
And when you say graduate work, was it in biology?
It wasn't. It was technically in the Department of Adult Education, organizational development, but it was really like I was really, really inspired by the idea of peak performance and flow states, and also how that functions as leaders, how directors are leaders on set and educators, and how to also take educational design and create transformative learning for performers and creators. And that was all those things were really of interest to me. And so this program kind of held space for me to explore all of that. And so I came away with an MEd from that. And as an acting teacher, I think it's kind of useful to have that background.
That's a great background for what you do. Yeah.
And the biology too, because, we had to study obviously a lot of physiology and understanding the body. And, there's so much talk now about trauma and the brain and all those things. And so I can kind of delve into it on a different level than if I hadn't had that background. I basically did pre-med. I did my MCATs. So, knowing full well I wasn't going to go to medical school, but I was just like, I'll just do it just for fun. So, I feel like those things really help me be a better teacher because I have a cognitive understanding of some things that I find helpful.
And I mean, I'm grasping, but also just the discipline and dedication it takes to get a master's like that. I mean, that's those skills, that work ethic really does apply to acting and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a pretty determined person. I have trouble once I start something, I have a hard time letting it go, even though that tail end of it is hard to finish sometimes, but yeah, and my family was so, positive about education. It was such a big value.
Yeah.
But my parents were both teachers for the longest time.
Right. So that's why you're a scholar.
I think it was just, it was definitely a value in my household.
But you finished that program and you're like, it's now or never on the acting.
Yeah.
And you were in Toronto, which is like the hub, right, for the CBC.
Yeah, although I don't know that I did much there. There were a fair amount of American productions that were coming up. There was a lot of animation that I did there, voiceover. And there was some just homegrown shows as well. There's more Canadian TV going on in Toronto than anywhere else at that time anyway. Possibly less American stuff. Maybe the American stuff went more to Vancouver. I don't know. But I was able to get a fair amount of credits just doing Canadian TV and the animation.
And it was going well, but you, at some point, I assume you just like headed to Hollywood?
Yeah, I think at some point they were like, the difference between the Canadian and the American approach to what I would offer would be like the Canadians were like, what do we do with him? And the Americans were, what do we do with him? Like there was just more possibility down here. And that proved to be true for sure.
Right. And were you aware of that before you moved, or is that what you discovered?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were made aware of it.
Yeah, I was aware of it. I was aware that it was going to be hard to really get where I wanted to go in Canada.
Right. And by then you had an agent or manager who wasn't ripping you off.
They had
and giving you
good
the right kind of
management and
advice.
very good.
Because I imagine those people would have been like, "You belong. You should really go to LA at some point."
Well, nobody ever says that in Canada. I don't think they ever.
don't.
I don't think they ever want to lose people to.
Don't
to
want
the
to admit
States.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess so, because no one holds on to their agent back in Toronto. I guess once they move here.
Well, some people do for a bit. But I guess it was. I always knew I wanted to be in LA. I just always knew from the time I heard from CBS Studios in Hollywood. It's the Carol Burnett show. I was like, I want to be at CBS Studios in Hollywood, and and I live not so far from there, just coincidentally. But it was, and now it's so sad because they're like, they're tearing it down or they're changing it into some sort of condo. I'm like, no. But I did. Oh, here's a good story. I had a student that told me about this ballet performance, and I said, oh, where is it? She said, it's at the CBS Studios in Hollywood. I'm like, what? Ballet? And they're like, yeah, it's one of the studios there. And I had never gotten to go into that studio. I've been here like 18 years. I've never been able to set foot on that lot. I never had the opportunity. And so I bought a ticket to this ballet just so I could go on the lot. And I get onto the lot and we go in, and I find out, right? I find out that the very studio we were in was exactly the studio where Carol Burnett filmed, like they shot her show. I was beside myself.
That's huge.
Yeah, and I sort of snuck out and I went like behind, where the big doors are, down the big hallway, and there was that big giant, Carol Burnett show logo on the side, and I was like, I'm in heaven.
That is very cool.
It's very cool.
Is that the one at Beverly and Fairfax?
Yep.
Yeah. CBS Television City, they call it, right?
Television. Yeah. Oh, that's one. Television City in Hollywood. That's right.
My grandmother's house was 3 blocks from there. So.
My dad lived in LA for a while before I was born, before he met my mom. And I asked an aunt once she's no longer alive, but at the time I said, do you know where my dad lived? And she goes, I think he lived at like Fairfax and Santa Monica, somewhere around there. Like, oh, wow, that's so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you move here and you just jump right in when
no, I had to start my whole career over again because
fresh.
Canada, what's Canada? What credits?
Right, and all those credits, no one respected the credits.
Someone told me that unless you have Cronenberg or Sarah Polley on your resume, the credits don't count. So I had to start all over again from like one-liners to, guest stars, recurring, and finally series regular. I just work my way back up.
Work your way back, but acting on television, which you grew. That was the goal growing up.
Yeah, I was loving it. It was such a dream come true.
And I mean, it means so much that you climbed a ladder north of the border and then came down and climbed the ladder again successfully. I mean, so many people never get up any ladder too far.
Well, I was determined.
Yeah. Determined and talented.
Oh, well, thank you. I worked hard. When I got here, I had learned a particular style of acting, and when I got here, I realized, I have to actually adjust. There's a different demand that's in the States, which is, I liked. It was a kind of an aliveness, a creativity, an originality that was being asked of us that no one had really asked me to. I think I brought in some way through my energy or persona or the characters I was doing. I think I brought some of that in Canada, and that's what made me book what I did. But when I got to the States, I realized I had to really up my game. It was just, there was some different demands, just a different style.
And was the focus generally comedic acting?
For me, I booked both. I booked drama and comedy, but my niche tends to be comedy. That's my sort of natural sensibility. I love doing drama too. But I tended to do more comedies.
I'm not sure there's a line you deliver in Roughing It that's not funny.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, because there's that extra skill. Well, I'm jumping ahead, but there's that extra skill, right, of a comic actor who can make a straight line. They can deliver something seriously and make it funny.
Uh-huh.
Like that one always amazes me, I think. When
it's music.
Yeah.
It's hearing the music.
Yeah.
Really, comedy is very melodic. It's very musical, and you need to sort of hear the music in your body, and you need to feel the music in your body. And it's not conscious a lot of the time. And that's why I think, like, my students will say, what's the best way to get good at comedy? I'm like, watch comedy, because it's like listening to a song. You listen to a song over and over and over again. Eventually, that rhythm and that everything about it kind of gets into your pores, right? You listen to it enough. It's the same with comedy. You just need to listen to it and watch it, and get what they're doing. Get the rhythm. Get the beats. Get the tone.
Yeah, it really is musical, for sure.
Very.
And collaborative like music.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if one person in the band is off.
Oh, and we don't realize how much, like, comedy editors do not get their due. So much of that, the comedy is built in the cuts and how they, timing of it.
And can be lost in the cut, right? Oh my God,
I've seen that
I've
too,
seen
yeah.
so many things where it's funny on the page and it's funny on the set, and then you watch a cut and you're like, where'd the laugh go?
You literally put one extra beat in, you put in an extra 10 frames or whatever, no laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you're in LA and you're acting like crazy, or acting, getting a successful acting career. Are you always thinking about directing and writing off to the side?
Yeah, I was writing. Especially the first decade or more that I was here, I was writing a solo show. I was really focused on.
Right, so it's for stage.
For stage.
Nice.
Yeah, writing for stage, and I was focused on writing. I think that I had kind of I was teaching, so it was kind of getting that part. Not that teaching's like directing, but there's some aspects that are, you're trying to help people, you're bringing out a performance. So, but I was kind of getting that part met, that need met, in terms of being in that kind of role. And I was writing, and then of course acting. So, but when I was on Danger Force, that's when I started directing for TV. Directed a bunch of those episodes, and directed Roughing It, of course. And so, and became a DGA member and got active there. So I'm more focused on directing now than I ever have been.
Excellent. And the teaching, when did that come in?
That came in right after I moved here.
Or after you moved here, right? So
yeah, it was like Kabbalah. I felt like I had to be a certain age. It's like they only say you have to be 40 to study Kabbalah.
There is I forget the rule. Yeah. Although everyone breaks it now, right?
Yeah.
As soon as Madonna joined the Kabbalah Center, that's a very LA thing of me to mention.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, all right. So you, but that must have, I'm just going to ask, like, did teaching, because you were raised by teachers, and then you were an actor, and things were going well, was it just very natural for you to move into teaching?
It was.
Of acting?
It felt very natural. Like I've taught before. Like I would teach different, not necessarily acting, but I would teach. I don't know, whatever. I can't even remember, but I remember teaching things. And I just I would tutor. I was tutoring science to high school students. I was doing whatever, but there's something, I think, because my science head, I have a strong analytical side, that I love being able to break something down and understand why it works and then communicate it. So I can tell you, like, you're in my class and something's going on, I can tell you exactly why it's not working and how to fix it. But I will help you find it. I want to help you find it. And so that's also another part of the puzzle that I like, is this interpersonal part of, like, how do I leverage your insight, your intellect, your talent, your skill, so that you can rise to your own occasion, so that you can find these answers in yourself. So that's the other part of the puzzle, and then helping people see how things work, how it breaks down. People think acting is this mysterious thing, like, and they get into this, like I told, I was mentioning peak performance and being in flow, and what is that, and as actors, every actor will at some point have been on stage or been somewhere where they were in flow. They were just like, it was just hitting, and they were getting laughs, and they were on stage, and then that was it. It was like a one-shot deal, and they went, this is my jam. I want to do this. They got hooked, and then they spent the rest of their life trying to repeat that.
Right. They go back out on stage the next night. It's not there.
And they're like, what did I do? And that's the thing, is it wasn't mysterious. There is a way to get yourself in alignment with that flow and there is a way to get present. Now, you're not always going to experience flow like the way we want to. That's a different thing, experiencing flow and all that. But you can get your skills and your instrument and everything into a place where there is a flow, where you're like 80, 90% there. And then there's those odd times where you're just so in peak performance, it's 100%, right? We can't expect that of ourselves all the time. We're human. There's too many variables, but we can get really close, and people don't realize it. They think it's some sort of mysterious thing. I'm like, no. If you're really clear about what the story is with your character, you're clear on what I call character agenda, and you're present with yourself, and you're connected to the other person, and you know what you're fighting for in the scene, and you connect to your own aliveness, you're gonna be there. You're gonna be telling the story.
Yeah, yeah. And with that degree of discipline, the flow is not as far away, right?
No, it's not
yeah,
far away.
It's much closer.
No, and people think it's this hard thing to achieve, but really it's about this internal connection that
And you can train.
Train, exactly.
You have to train. You have to train to make it more possible.
Actors are like the only profession that think, oh, I can go to a class once every 6 months and I should be able to like nail it, hit it out of the park. Dancers would never think that way. Singers would never think that way, right? They're disciplined every day. They were doing their work, going to a class practically.
Yeah.
Actors are like, we expect unrealistic things of ourselves, you know?
It's true. It's true. You're making me think of the stand-up comedians who say like they have to bomb all the time to get good. And they have to go, and even the most talented, successful people, when they're starting over with a new show, with a new series of jokes, they've got to write those jokes, and then they've got to suffer to get them good again. It's not like these great comics whip out a finished hour at home. No, it's all discipline.
It's craft.
Yeah, it's craft. Exactly, craft.
Yeah.
Does teaching it also help flex your craft and your muscles?
Absolutely. I think since I started teaching, I think I became a better actor because what I'm saying to them, I'm saying to me, they're teaching me too. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, that's why that works, and I'm in it, like I'm immersed in it. And also I feel like when I'm teaching, I'm really like, I'm my best self, I'm so focused on other people. It teaches me focus. And I always say to people, like, find that, like to my students, like find that one place in your life where you're so focused, you're your best self, because that's the feeling you need when you're acting. That's the space you need to be in. So I'm lucky I find that in teaching, and teaching teaches me the state that I need to be in to deliver a performance.
Yeah.
Just by being present with someone else.
And to be a little more selfless, I guess.
Absolutely.
Because you're focusing
focused on someone else.
On other people, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm aside. I'm not thinking about my needs. I'm not thinking about me. I'm like, my mind is just completely like an algorithm going, okay, how do I get this person to...
And great actors support each other, right? And care as much about their scene partner's performance as their own.
It's a collaboration.
Yeah.
It's an absolute collaboration. Yeah. It's about connection. I've acted with actors who it's about them.
Yeah, who give you nothing.
Well, it's not that they give me nothing. It's that I can feel, like you feel when someone's being generous and they're really supporting you they're really going for connection, and there's a feeling of like, we're in this together. We're in this storytelling together, and there's just this vibe. It's the best feeling, and it's not always there with every actor, and for good reason, because, we're humans and we have our insecurities or whatever's going on. So it's challenging to get there. It's challenging, and it really forces us to break down some barriers and to transcend fear and all sorts of things.
Yeah, yeah. So did you find once you were teaching more and more, did your acting career also flourish more and more?
Oh, I never thought of that. Well, I don't know if there was a correlation necessarily. I mean, I got on Henry Danger in 2014. And had been teaching all along.
Well,
But I don't know if there's a correlation.
yeah. But you got on there, and then and that's what opened up directing opportunities. You said
Later on, when
Later
we did the
on.
spinoff.
right,
Yeah.
which is always it's always so cool when they I as a fan I always enjoy when you get to see when you see those names pop up as directors. It's always I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Heck, I even, yeah, Jason Bateman pulled Laura Linney in to direct an episode of his last Netflix thing that she wasn't even in. And I'm like, that's so cool,
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So you experienced that, and that really gave you the taste to think about writing films, or directing films.
I mean, I always knew that I was going to direct. I always knew that. I just
Right, that was a
didn't-
given.
Yeah, it was a given. Like it feels so. I feel so at home. It feels so natural for me. My master's was like it was about leadership, right? It's like this real like what is leadership? How are you a good leader? And to me, a director is absolutely no question a leader on set. Is the leader on set, and he has to, she, they have to have a vision that is in support, especially in TV, of the showrunner and the writers, and so you're in service. You're a technician that's in service, but you're also someone that needs to be able to create a collaborative community and to work with people in this way that I really love. So it's just always been, it's like in my blood. It feels so natural, and I love it. So I was doing that, and I was getting, meetings, great meetings. I have a lit agent. They were like sending me on meetings for directing. And I was, there were some people that wanted me to do a feature film, but they're like, we have multicam comedy on your reel. Like, you got to show us that you can do this. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll write a short film. That'll show you, And so it was a very fast process. Like I had the idea and I wrote the film and just all of
It
that.
fits into the determination mold. Then you're
Yes,
like, oh,
yes.
you need me to give an example? Fine, I'm
Yeah.
determined. I'll do this.
Once I know what's needed, I'm in. I'm done. It's done deal. So it was like I got the idea in like September, October, finished writing it by November, cast it end of November, beginning of December.
I think I happened.
Yeah, and then scheduled production for January. It was the strike, I guess, had just been over, and I was like, oh, we got to get this in at the very beginning of January because people are going to go run back to work. There's going to be so much work. I have to do it first weekend in January, and of course, we know what happened after that. Nothing.
Yeah, things didn't race back.
No.
And you mentioned casting. Your cast is fantastic.
I think great.
So
I
good.
so lucked
And the
out.
chemistry, honestly, it's funny now that I know about the Carol Burnett thing because the interplay between you and the other actors, I get it. I see the connection in a way. And I do love the family angle too. The family dynamics are so good in it.
I really love that too. I love we shot. There was a scene that's really the heart of the film, and that was the very last scene that we shot on the weekend. Right? It was a 2.5 day shoot that should have been 4.5 days, really. And then we had snow. It wasn't written for snow. We had a snowfall. It was the first week of January. I was like, oh my gosh! So I had to rewrite that. But the snow really helped with the coziness. It helped with like the family feel. It was actually a gift from the gods. But we shot that scene last, and by that point in the weekend, Sophie and Aaron, who play the mom and daughter, had like really connected and really bonded, and it just their relationship was just so organic and so sweet, so connected. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah, that all those connections felt real. Mm-hmm. They were it was so authentic. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Including the comedy was authentic. It's authentically funny.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's what
But I was
going
going to ask, were they all actors that you were familiar with? Like
I wasn't, I'd
friends
never,
or students or
I had a casting director, Edie Belasco, that was amazing, and she's the one that found Aaron. She knew Aaron. She knew Aaron's work. I'd never worked with Aaron before, and Aaron was on board. I mean, she's a name. Like, she's done a lot, and she has a new series coming out on Amazon this coming year. You know, she works, and she didn't need to do this, and she was so in, like just 100%. She didn't even know me, and she was in. Sophie, I was kept asking around, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's Sophie Gianamari. Yeah, you got to call Sophie." I heard it from like 5 people. I'm like, I guess we got to call Sophie, right? And she did this fantastic audition, and she was just amazing. And then Chris, I've known for years and years. I wrote that part for him in mind because I just knew, you know, that would be really fun to have him as my dolty best friend.
You two are such good comic relief in there. I love what you tell him. What was it? The calendar bit? Like,
Yeah.
read her the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show my dear sister the calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's so funny and great. Yeah.
Right. So one friend casted, and then the other two
The other
came
two
to it. Came to it,
Yeah,
and were
one was-
perfect for the roles.
Yeah, one was through the casting director. The other was through a lot of referrals and submission. Like, you know, I called the agent as well, and they submitted her. Yeah, she's with my agency, so it was easy to connect.
Packaging
Packaging,
with air
right.
quotes.
Yeah, it was more like a phone call.
Yeah,
Like, hey.
yeah, exactly. It's not like the agents. Let's package an indie short.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that's worth our while.
But obviously the chemistry and the quality. You had a great crew too, because you said like you got
Oh my gosh.
4 days of work done in 2.5.
I had pros, people that work all the time. I stole a bunch of people from Henry Danger that were, you know, the show was over. But my first AD is a pro first AD. My prop and set deck person is like, you know, works on all this big stuff. And she's a food stylist. I was like, I wish I had more food for her to style. She's so talented and gifted. Like, we're talking top-notch films these people are on. My editor is an Emmy Award-winning editor from the Kelly Clarkson Show. My sound person, who I got, who's also Emmy-nominated, Emmy winner. It was that caliber. It was an incredible crew. And of course, the cinematographer, you know, Sam, who's partnered with someone who I knew from Henry Danger, so I knew him like through her. But I also had a friend from the show that worked with him on some other projects. So there was like it was you know, kind of family. And then I had some people on set that were kind of mentoring, that were just, you know, I didn't have as much experience, and gave them some good stuff to do. And
That's always with indie shorts. People they get a little promotion for doing it. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting a good opportunity.
Yeah. And we all stayed in the cabin where we shot. And I wanted that because I wanted to create that family atmosphere within the cast and crew. And I think that was really successful. Like, people were just hanging out, you know, after dinner, and they were chatting. And, you know, it wasn't like people were going back to a hotel room and going to their rooms. We were all together. And that just created a great vibe on set.
Huge vibe.
Yeah.
These are all decisions that this is the discipline that creates flow.
Yeah, you know,
like all these decisions really did create the situation where everyone could reach that point.
I like creating experience for people. Like, it's not just a job, it's an experience. I want people to have an experience. I want them to have good food. I want them to have good connections. I want there to be some structure. I want them to get gifts. I want them, like, there's a whole package to it. It's like when I do workshops, there's a way to design it where you get an ultimate experience. And that's what I wanted, and I love that part of it. I'm always kind of thinking about that, and I find that so fun.
Yeah, in fact, that is excellent film producing, I believe.
I suppose, is that producing? I guess in some ways, yeah. Because I also, you know, co-produced it, so
you co-produced it. Yeah. But those are you had your director's decisions and you had producer decisions, and they were all focused on the same goal, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Or at least your producer set up your directors so that they could do the best job possible.
It was, you know, there's blurry lines when you're making a short film in terms of roles. Like, you know, my producer stepped in as a script coordinator, you know, for a bit, and it was like people are just doing what needs to be done. So myself included, you know, we just all jump in. Yeah,
and it's very rare for an indie film indie film director to not have worn the producer hat
Yeah.
for at least 1/3 to half of the time they worked on it.
Yeah, it's yeah. If it's my project, I'm writing it, directing it, I'm in it. You know, I'm the one that's, you know, pretty much producing it because, you know, I'm getting the cabin, I'm getting, like, I have the idea of what I need and want. And then, you know, I really leaned heavily on Sam around other stuff like lenses and lights and things like that a producer might step in. That wasn't my strong point, especially at that point, knowing what we would need given the snow and given like how we were shooting with glass in the background, things like that. So, you know, I leaned on them for those kinds of things where some producers know about lighting and what's needed and, you know, things like that. So, but I got some great favors from people, and we got some equipment, you know, lent to us for free or for cheap, things like that. So I got to wear my producer hat for, you know, negotiating.
Yeah.
Which I really don't like. I think if I could just stick to the creative stuff, the directing, writing, acting, I think I'm better there.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't want well, something this size, you could wear all those hats, but as it gets bigger,
Yeah, it's too much.
yeah, that would be way too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But so you created this wonderful situation for the shoot, and then you had this amazing editor you mentioned. So then I imagine was the editing really fun? Like all the pieces went together, and
I find editing stressful.
oh, really?
I do find editing stressful. You know, it came together, and I had an amazing editor. So yeah, but it's like, oh, we don't have that shot. How do we not have that shot? Or you know, you know, just trying to communicate what I'm wanting. You know,
Right.
and then you see the rough cut, and you're like, oh God, do we have it? Do we have what? You know, are we able to like cut this down? Are we gonna? I find it stressful.
And you already said the thing I always say to people, like at the festivals and stuff, which is editing comedy is the hardest skill.
It's so hard.
It's so much harder
It's
than the other
Yeah.
genres.
I mean, I was driving my editor crazy. I think at some point, I'm like, okay, just take another frame off, another frame. I want to see like the timing. If we cut this down, is it funnier? You know? And he's just looking at me, going, "Really?" I'm like, yeah, it's that specific. You know?
But that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't fake a laugh. You know, a dramatic moment, you can hang on that actor's face, and we're in. But if you don't make the audience laugh, oh man, what's worse than being in a theater when
Yeah.
jokes aren't landing?
That's what's amazing about like sitting in on the screenings when it's at the festival and being able to see people's reactions and going, oh, they're laughing at that point. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
It kills me. Every once in a while, we'll have a comedy in the festivals that that lands for me, but it'll be like a challenging subject, and people will be afraid. There have been films that people are afraid to laugh at, and so I actually try to laugh like extra loud so people get permission.
Good.
And sometimes it works, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we have them on set. Dialogue director is always laughing so that everybody else will get going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So the edit was stressful, but it turned out well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It was. I knew it would be okay in the end, but it was the process. And also I wasn't. It was much more involved in the editing, obviously, in this than I would have been than you are in TV, right?
At TV, you got a deadline.
You got a deadline. You get your director's cut. You give notes, and then the showrunner takes it from there. Like you don't. It's not like you get to get notes on the final product, you know. And then there's network notes, and it's like it's you're part of the process, but you're not the final say.
Yeah, in fact, isn't the old maxim TV is the writer's medium and film is the director's medium?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
For sure.
And it's true
Yeah,
because that showrunner is always the head, or is generally come up as a
their
writer.
vision. It's their vision. Absolutely. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
a hired hand
Yeah,
as a director.
yeah, yeah. Except for those people who direct pilots or something, right? Are there the pilot only people who everyone like go around like setting the tone and then they walk away or something?
Yeah,
I've
but they're
heard of
still
that.
they're still in service to the showrunner.
Yeah,
They're
I guess so. Yeah.
They get them because they've worked with them before. They know that they're going to get the tone. Yeah, and then of course there's different directors. There's anomalies. I mean, there's like the, James Brooks, and there's the Mark Sandrowskis of the world and people like that just they have a different level of status and power in terms of like helping with the tone and things like that. But I don't know what it's like for them, but I'm assuming that, given how prolific they are.
Yeah. All right. So the film is finished, and did you have your eye like the whole time on that the short would do a festival run, and then because I know the impetus for it was really for a reel to show that you can direct features, but you figured you would do a festival run too.
Yeah, for sure. I also, I felt like I owed it to the cast and crew too to get it out there and get seen, and see that, have their work seen, and like it's great that Sam got that award, and Sophie's getting more exposure, and people like that. It's important for people to have work out and have stuff. So people see what that they're doing.
And you get that experience of sitting in a full theater, hearing people laugh at your, respond to your work.
Yeah, it's great.
It really is special. Like that's my addiction to the festival circuit or the two festivals is, if you're just gonna and the Q&As too. Like if you're just gonna watch stuff and not discuss it and not experience it together, just stay home. Like
yeah. Well, I also really, really love, having been exposed to a number of different festivals, through this process. Really love your philosophy and your approach to curating the festival and putting it together. When I was reading through it on Film Freeway, in terms of the description, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to meet whoever's programming this festival. This guy has it. This guy knows, because it's not, you're really in some ways a purist in the sense that we're not categorizing. We're not, it's just good film is good film. Stories are stories. It doesn't, we don't have to put them into blocks, into artificial blocks that separate people. Let's put them into blocks that create unity and mutual understanding. And that I just really loved that we didn't have to be put in some sort of, I don't know, category. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In fact, wasn't it like I forget your block, but it was like might have been like animation and then your film and then a documentary like oh no two docs followed you. Yeah, two docs followed you. Yeah. Great docs too. Yeah, no, all great. Yeah, great film. That on it. The funny thing is, I love the eclectic blocks, and people are like, "Ooh, you really saw how they went together." And I got to admit, like, really, just quality goes with quality. And since all the films on our festival are great, like we have really high standards. Like, we don't care if it. We just care about the quality, and so when you have 60 fantastic films, you really can't fuck it up, because people sit down and watch one great film after another, and you're
responding to it with integrity, and I really appreciate that, as opposed to a chess move.
Yeah, and as opposed to like we're going to put all the comedies in one block and all the horror in one block and all the docs in one block.
You don't get heady about it. You actually approach it. What I love about how you approach the film festival is you approach it like an artist. You're artistically curating something instead of like in your head about how things should go.
Yeah,
and it really shows.
Thank you. I mean, thank you. That's a really wonderful compliment.
Yeah.
Because I pour my heart into this crap.
Yeah, it shows.
And the funny thing is, sometimes I'll sit there, and if we don't get a good turnout or something for someone's film, I feel bad. And I'm like, why do I feel so bad? Like, they could have invited people.
Right. It's like you're hosting a dinner party or something.
I know. It's like, it's not my fault. But yeah, I know. I'm like, but people need to see, like, all those films are so good. They're really so good.
Yeah.
And there's such great work being made. There's this great art being made by people all the time who don't get embraced by the industry a lot. But in your case, have you been able to show Roughing It to the kind of people who told you needed something that wasn't multi-camera?
More or less. It's just it coincided with this lull in the industry where people are not really taking meetings or not really interested in buying new ideas or hiring new directors. So I think the time will come where it'll definitely be a great, piece of a sample.
Right.
And yeah, people have seen it, but I don't think it's, I think the reps are going like, oh, let's give it to them when they're actually interested in hiring for something. So
got it. Yeah.
The time will come.
Because there's this weird, it's a very weird period right now.
It's a weird time. Yeah, so they're strategizing. I'm like, okay. Well,
yeah, I know. Believe me, we've had, a lot of that's a weird way to say it. A lot of projects that were sitting on people's hard drives for a long time are coming to the festivals now because the lull has allowed them to dive in and finish that documentary or finish something else.
It's been really hard to get into festivals because through COVID and through the strikes and through all this stuff, this lull, people are just putting out way more work. And so it's getting much more competitive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. I just thought, I'm a little self-centered, and I'm like, we're just getting so much good stuff.
That's good.
It is. It's nice. In fact, just wonderful stuff. It's wonderful. Well, so do you want to, are you going to direct more shorts, or you really have your eye on something?
Possibly. I wouldn't say no. I don't have anything coming up to do that. I also, saved up some money and did this, funded it myself. I'm not going to be doing that again until I'm, have some great work coming in. So, it's just limited resources, whether I would,
Right. Because you leaned in on the quality here too. And so you certainly wouldn't want to go from this to, something zero budget kind of.
Well, it's more like how many favors can I ask from my friends? Comes a point where you're like, oh gosh, I just want to pay them their rate.
Yeah. You don't want the favor rate. Yeah.
I want to employ them. You never know. I could do a short tomorrow. I could start writing a short tomorrow and do it. I would love that. I'd love to do that process. The process was so amazing. I would do it again in a second. So it's really just kind of a question of okay, do I want to find money to do that? So, but yeah, I'm focused on writing stuff now too, and just more like things that I could sell, series and things like that, series ideas.
Right, because you have really good contacts in the TV industry, obviously.
Well, I don't. Maybe I don't know.
I
don't know.
Well, I would pray that you do. Compared to a writer who's never.
Yeah, I know people.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily matter. It's really
doesn't matter as much as it should. Yeah.
It's like what do you have? Is it something that people are buying or not? It's about that. I have great reps, and it's just where the industry is right now, and it'll shift.
I'll have
stuff ready.
And you're ready, and you're still teaching.
Yeah.
And that fulfills. Obviously, if it's also very. I'm thinking. I was going to say fulfills the soul.
It's very fulfilling, and it's very. What's the word? Soul-filling?
I don't know. I wish there was. I know there's a better term.
There's a word. I'm missing it. Gratifying. It's. I love teaching. I can't imagine not doing it. I don't think I could just teach or just act. I think I have to do both. But I love it. I feel very dedicated and appreciative of my students. It's just, it's very, very gratifying.
That's excellent. Remember when I told you there's like an amount of time people are willing to talk about themselves?
Oh, is this it?
We actually just hit it.
Oh, okay. Great.
And it kind of feels like that, right?
Okay. Yeah, what else is there to say?
But we're up to here. Yeah, and you've covered, we've got everything covered.
Right.
But do you want to share, is there social media people should follow for Roughing It or for yourself?
Yeah, and do we need to say anything about Roughing It, or do we want to mention anything about it?
Anything.
Okay.
Anything. Do you have more festivals coming?
Yeah, I mean, it just played at a festival in 29 Palms. It's called 29 Queer Festival.
Oh, nice.
And then it played at the Vox Popular Festival in Sudbury. And I haven't gotten the official announcement yet, but I'm sure by the time this comes out, it's going to be at the LGBTQ Film Festival in Tel Aviv, which is a really interesting festival, and it's interesting timing, of course, to be there. They have an incredibly they have an incredible block. They have a whole block dedicated to queer Palestinian films,
That's
like queer Palestinian
That's-
filmmakers.
I can't help but say that's beautiful.
It's amazing, and
Yeah.
they're very much about speaking out against the government and what's happening there, and using art to share stories and to motivate people to make change. So it feels like a very important festival to be at this time. So I'm proud of that.
That's fantastic. Should I assume you're not going to be able to travel for that one, or can you be there?
I'm trying to figure that out. It's going to be challenging to get there just logistically.
Yeah,
But
it's really far.
it's far. Yeah, it's far. But if it's possible, I would do it.
It's funny you reminded. Maybe I'll tell you about the thing it reminded. Yeah, I'll save it for when we're not recording. There's
Okay.
no reason to fill your podcast with a story of a film I saw once.
Okay.
All right.
I
Well,
look forward to hearing it.
yeah. No, hopefully I remember it. So anyway, I will wrap us up because first of all, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for listening. There will be clickable links in the show notes that'll take you to wherever you need to go to find out where you can catch Roughing It and Michael's other work. Anything you want us to link to, we can.
Yeah. There's the Instagram is Roughing It Film. My Instagram is Michael D. Cohen. Same with my TikTok. And my there's a website for Roughing It. It's roughingitfilm.com. And my website's michaeldcohen.com. My teaching website is Michael D. Cohen Studio or mdcohenstudio.com. Yeah, there's some Facebook pages too. My studio is on there and my page is on there.
I remember a couple years ago, it seemed like Facebook pages might replace web pages. Now, no. Now Facebook pages are gone.
Yeah.
I feel. I don't even know why we bother updating the ones for the film festivals, but we do. Mm-hmm. We do. I think it syncs to Instagram, which makes it easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, funny. All right. Well, those will all be clickable links, and I'll have you confirm them too, just so that we don't have typos. Because, well, whatever. We'll check them.
All right.
Karina, the podcast producer, is excellent at that. So anyway, I will ramble off what I ramble off at the end of every episode. I thanked Michael already, but I'm going to thank you again because that's my habit. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming and doing it in person because, I don't mind the ones that are on Zoom, but it's always better to be in person, I think.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And everyone, you are listening. You just listened to the Discover Indie Film podcast. If you go to discoverindiefilm.com, you'll learn all about it. On social media, it's always at DIFwins. And if you go to discoverindiefilm.org, not .com, but .org, that is the nonprofit that runs two film festivals, both Film Invasion Los Angeles that did the world premiere of Roughing It, and the Sherman Oaks Film Festival that we hold every December. So they're June and December, so it doesn't drive me too crazy, 6 months apart. And they're both on the top 100 best rated list on Film Freeway.
Oh, congratulations.
So our little nonprofit runs two of the 100 top rated festivals out of 14,000 worldwide.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool.
That's
I know. I was amazed when that happened, and I'm like, holding on to it.
Well deserved.
Thank you so much. And I won't bother with the websites and social media for those two festivals because you can just get to them at discoverindiefilm.org. But I will mention, I always call them sister festivals, and next year they get a cousin. Next year in January of 2026, which is coming really fast. Lima, Film Invasion Lima in Lima, Peru. It's happening. And it's going to be wonderful. There's going to be some wonderful films from Film Invasion LA and Sherman Oaks Film Festival. A couple of our alumni sent stuff, and
I sent mine. I'm waiting to hear back.
excellent. Yeah, in fact, I'll be talking to Chevy. Hey, Chevy, good to talk to you. I hope you listen. But yeah, it's actually a husband and wife team in Lima. Had been with Sherman Oaks twice over the years. And then the last time they were there was last December, and we were sitting in the bar, Look Cinemas in Glendale at the end of the festival, closing night. And he was like looking around the room and going, Jeff, I just wish I had a community like this in Lima, where I like a community of indie filmmakers working together and meeting each other. And I said, well, someone hit me up to do Film Invasion London, and then they flaked. Someone hit me up to do Film Invasion Vancouver and flaked. So there's Film Invasion Tempe might happen in Arizona. There might even be one in Michigan someday. But I turned to him and I'm like, I've known you a couple years. In fact, I'd known him 4 years because I'd first met them during COVID over Zoom. and I was like, I trust you. I know you're a quality person. If you want to be the Film Invasion Lima Festival runner, I will do all I can to support you and share all my tricks with you. And he and his wife took me up on it. So we've got Film Invasion Lima.
That's so cool.
It's really cool. And actually, it's really nice that the first Film Invasion spinoff is in South America.
When is it?
January 16th and 17th.
Okay.
And it's in the Spanish quarter of Lima, where the art museums and everything is, and the palace, and it's that Spanish architecture that I am aware it means that a lot of native people were tortured and hurt during the colonial era. But man, it is amazing when you're in South America and all of a sudden you feel like you're in Seville, Spain.
Are you going to go?
I thought I was. It's a tough time because it's right after Sherman Oaks and right after the holidays, and airfares didn't quite get as low as I was hoping. All right. Thank you again, Michael.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for listening.